How's everybody in YouTube land? Well, I got shipping confirmation from TurboSmart. They shipped my other blow-off valve yesterday. Got it in the same day from Australia and turned around and sent it right back out the door. But it'll be here Wednesday. Today is Friday. The 9th, it'll be here Wednesday. Also coming is the springs I need so I can put a light spring in the TurboSmart wastegates that I got that I'm going to replace these with. There's nothing wrong with these. The VS Racing gates work fine. Like I said, they're a tile clone, MVR clone. They got tile diaphragms, tile springs in them. They worked fine, but I'm going to go ahead and change them out. The MAC valves are all mounted, and they say it doesn't matter which wire goes to what. On the boost controller, you've got a brown wire and a gray wire, and one of these wires goes to the brown, one goes to the gray. They said it doesn't matter, but the way I did it was I took the inside wire on both of them because they're both mounted the same direction. It going to go to the brown wire. Outside two wires are together in a butt connector that's one of those soldered heat shrink style. And then those two wires will go to the brown. Those two will go to the gray or to the gray, and these two to the brown or whatever. But the same two wires coming out of each MAC valve are together, just to be safe. I changed this. That's what I had down there, and for some reason, a couple of the holes that were tapped in the one I had down here, where I had two pipe plugs in it, kept leaking. 6 or 7 wraps of Teflon tape, and you could just literally push the plug. It would go all the way through and come out inside the block. And they're a Viair block, which you would think would be decently, but yeah. So I switched it out. That is a UPR billet block. And just to make sure, when I got all of it done, before I put the fitting in down here where oil goes into it and comes out to the turbo's oil temperature sender, which is electric, not capillary anymore, so I can put it inside the car or inside the truck in the cab. And then that's for oil pressure gauge up here. I put air pressure to it, 125 psi. I sprayed it with soapy water, wasn't leaking, so we should be good. But yeah, both MAC valves are all plumbed in and wired. I'll just have to pop the one out of the gate when I change it and take the fitting out of the gate and put it back in the new gate. I put that on there to kind of keep some of the heat away from the alternator. I know it kind of looks janky, but you know what? It serves a purpose. And that's a Thermotech blanket. It's thick, it's heavy. I just took the little metal clips they got on it where it's supposed to set on a pipe, and I just wrapped it around that. That is the new oil temperature gauge. Boost controller's mounted right there. Wiring's run over here. The only wires I need, of course, are the brown and the gray, the black and the red. That stuff's all for different outputs, like for fuel injection and other extra controls that you have on that, but I don't need it. I'm just using it to control boost, overboost protection, so forth. And of course, there's the wiring for the oil temperature gauge. I've got another glow shift gauge for the transmission temperature, which I already got the fitting all plugged in, and the sender screwed in underneath. I just got to run wiring up to it from the sender and mount the gauge right there. Then I have a intake air temperature gauge, which has 2 different sending units. I'm going to put one in the hat, and then I'm going to put one in the intake below the carburetor, so I can watch that since I'm not running an air cooler. And I don't run pump gas either, so I run highly oxygenated, 105 octane unleaded. Something else we knocked out last night. It came, I just wanted to get it done and get it over with. But if you see that little aluminum bar sticking down, the big black bar going across, never mind the little Boston Terrier, that is the anti-roll bar. It is in, it is done. With this up on jack stands and being lowered 4 inches, it was a little bit of work, but we got everything in, got the ankle set on it, all that. And the other ones you see coming off the axle tube and going over our axle tube braces. They're from UPR as well. They're for a Fox Body Mustang, but they work. An 8.8's an 8.8. It don't know what car it's in. I got the cell down so I can uncap this and run the line from this down to the Carter electric fuel pump. I've got a big Carter 110 gallon per hour pump under here to use as the fuel pump for the nitrous system. So it's got its own fuel pump and its own outlet out of the cell. That one goes down to the MagnaFuel ProStar 500 pump, which is the main pump for the motor. I've got my other RPM control module that goes to 8,000 RPM for the main rev limiter. The one with the white T is trans brake. That's the other one I had, but it only goes to 5,200, which ain't enough. So I've got a 7,000 chip in it right now. Don't do me what I think you just did, dude. Please get away from the back of the truck. So he's put more chips and dinks in this thing than I can count. I love him to death, but you want to go in it? In the truck? I'm not going to start it and move it or nothing, buddy. Anyway, I got that. I got to get that plugged back in and pull the chip out. The old capillary tube, oil temperature gauge, and the cup's going to go bye-bye. I'll scoot these two over. But other than that, that's it. We're just waiting on that blow-off valve. Okay, just a minute. Just a minute, okay? Give me 2 minutes. But that's where we're at. And a roll bar's on. Mac valves are plumbed and wired. Like I said, I'll just have to pull that one out, take the fitting out, put it in the new gate. Get the blow-off valves put on it. Take these fittings out, which I can't use. I've got some 16th pipe to quarter push lock from Motion Raceworks to put in the new one from Turbo Smart, because they use 16th pipe and not 1/8 inch pipe. The blanket, just all the little things I need to change. I know this looks kind of cornwalled, but that's the only way I could get this. I had to turn it up because if I lay it down, it's hitting the accelerator pump. I didn't want that issue. I'll have to put another one of these in right here and take the plug out so I can run another push lock line over, run it through the firewall and end for the boost controller for reference. I took it apart to see if I could change the fitting in it and put a push lock fitting in it, or a bulkhead type, something different where I had push lock coming out, and I can't. So I've got it going from the hose over to a barb through here to a push lock fitting on the back side. So I just got the whatever this stuff is that they send with it. It's soft, but it's like plastic line. I don't know what it is, but Teflon, I don't have no clue. But anyway, I used it till I got over there, and I used the basically part of the through the firewall fitting into a push lock fitting. So, but that's all that's going on. Get the other gauges in there, and I'll put them in and wire all this at one time. I'm not going to do part and part and part, because I'll stick all the wiring in one piece of loom, tuck it under the shifter, and hide it and be done. You're in. See, you got in all by yourself.
Yeah, I put my feet on the wheel.
You put your feet on the wheel and climbed right up, didn't you?
Yeah.
But, yep.
What is in that?
It's much better back here now with the new shocks and everything on it, and extending the shock travel, and which some people might criticize that. I don't care. It's all 1/4 inch plate. It extended them 5 inches. It works. I mean, literally, you can see the bottom of the shock down there. There was no travel with them, and these are for a 2 to 3 inch lowered truck. This one was lowered 4 inches, and it was 0 travel. So, Viking, you need to remeasure your length on your shocks.
It's not plugged in.
Yeah, don't plug that in. That's just for a fuel sending unit, and I don't use it. Although I got a gauge up there, I don't use it. Truck has had a Autometer Phantom Series fuel level gauge in it since I put it together when it was 4-wheel drive, and I've never hooked it up. And I just keep putting it back in the dash, but I never use it. So maybe I'll hook it up. I don't know. It's right there. And I've never used it. And over the winter, I've got like the ProComp autometer fuel pressure gauge. I've got the voltmeter, 2 electric water temperature gauges, and 2 manual oil pressure gauges that are all the liquid fill. They're all going to get switched out. Nothing against Quick Car, they work, but I don't care for capillary tube gauges because sometimes these things, it'll take it till it gets all the way up to temperature and then the gauge will just jump up. I want something that's a little more accurate. So they work fine, but they don't work perfect. Let's put it that way. So get the other seat cover put on. It's still in the box for a year. I'm coming. Put a new back tire on my wife's motorcycle. The silver one that was in the one video. It's hers now because I had my own. What do you want then? If you don't want down, what do you want? You're getting dirty ass footprints all over in the bed of this truck. Do not walk on those wheels either. And don't walk on that fuel cell. Anyway, that's what's going on. I'm going to deal with the grandson. It's 95 and 95% humidity. I'm going back inside in air conditioning. I thought I'd share this update. I just got through mowing the yard. It's time to go in, get something to drink, cool off for a minute. So that's what's going on. As soon as that gets here, it's going on. Gates will go on. I'll get everything set. That stuff wired up. It'll take me a couple hours to do it. I'll video it if you want to see it. I would have videoed doing the anti-roll bar. Yes, please, I'm talking. I have done the anti-roll bar, but trying to put my phone or the camera or even my son holding it while I'm underneath the truck, rolling around, my big fat belly would just barely fit under the cow track bars. What I had on jack stands all the way up. And I had 2 jacks on either side ahead of them as a safety just in case. It would have been a pain in the ass, everybody. So I apologize. I wanted to film it, but we had it in and done in about an hour, literally. There was a hole on the side of the frame. When I held it up, there was like a 1/4-inch hole. Pilot hole, hole sawed the 2 holes, put the crossbar in, cut it off, got everything hung up, tacked up where I wanted it, took it out, welded it, put it in, painted, and done. So it took us about an hour to put the anti-roll bar in. And you can see maybe a little bit right there is where the big flat brown plate is welded to the frame and then the tubes inside it. But that's it, guys and gals. So I appreciate everybody. He's over here playing. I appreciate everybody. That's my buddy. Anytime I get it out, he's got to get in it with me. And the kid knows how to start it. He knows what switches to flip, what key to turn, and when to push a button. So he's got it down pat, 4.5 years old. So again, everybody, thank you for watching the videos, subscribing. Your comments, good, bad, criticism's always good either way. Everybody stay safe. God bless. And if everything goes right, this coming weekend, we're going to get this thing out and beat on it. I'll get my son to video it, my wife to video it, follow us, whatever. I got somewhere I can take it on private property and beat on it a little bit. So keep watching. It's coming. I know I've stalled on it, but again, I've got him 7 days a week. So that's a handful in itself. Again, stay safe. God bless. And I'll put more up later.